should have a green-black one, sure. I'm not changing it now. All right, mono green Stompy here. So, we got a bunch of 2/1s for 1. And we've got some 1/1s for 1. And I've got a 5/4 for 3. And we're going to try and keep up with decks like Bridgevine and Griselbrand. I've got a bunch of Tormod's Crypts and a Grafdigger's Cage and a couple of Scavenging Oozes and a chip and a chair. And we're going to be hoping and a praying. If anybody wants to go back and clip my little modern discussion there, I'd appreciate it. Feel free to post a link to me. Yeah, maybe there should just be Leyline of the Voids instead of the Tormod Crypts. Maybe. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah, I agree, EMBot. I think a big part of why there's so many people like myself that wanted Modern to be more fair is because so many people are priced out of Legacy. And one of the things that I think so many people don't think about, because you hear the very elitist gatekeeping people are like, you can't afford Legacy, just stop playing Standard for a year and save your money and buy a Legacy deck. It's like, well, playing Legacy isn't just about one person affording a Legacy deck. It's about having a community of people who can afford Legacy decks. Just to put an asterisk here, because I said this before I started recording, strictly optimal, there should be a Peat land instead of the Horizon Canopy because you actually save 1 life on your Dismember when you cast it. Functionally, it almost is never going to matter, and I wasn't taking the time to replace it before we started this league, because getting cards on Magic Online is a tedious and slow process, even with my sponsor. They're going to play a 1-mana 5/5 here, probably. That's why they took our Dismember, I assume. Yep. I think that long pause there was the reading Hexdrinker pause. It's really pretty extreme what the play versus the draw meant in this game, too. Because if I had been on the play this game, my Dryad Militant would have gotten into play before they could Thought Scour, and then they wouldn't have had enough cards to play the Skermag Angler on, too, which is a pretty big deal. So Protection is a confusing mechanic that they don't often use anymore. Protection means it can't be targeted or blocked by it. So, like, when this has protection from everything, it's unblockable and it can't take damage. And this is where protection is confusing. Protection from everything still dies to destroy all creatures. So it's not indestructible. It just prevents damage. It's a very confusing mechanic that doesn't get used anymore for that reason. What am I supposed to do here? I think I'm just supposed to take this. And then next turn I just like Rancor plus level up plus try to kill them. And it does not stop edict effects. That is also true. I think I just attempt to kill them on the backswing here. Alright, don't have double removal. They don't have double removal, they're dead. This is 7, 8, 9. If these are blanks, they're dead. They are not blanked, so we've died. That was a pretty long game of Modern. My opponent didn't kill me till turn 5. Pretty cool. I'm going to cut the Aspect of the Hydras here because my opponent's deck has a lot of spot removal in it. So these pump spells are less good when my opponent's going to be interacting with my board. I'm going to bring in Nissa because it generates chump blockers by making O1s every turn. And then Scavenging Ooze can hammer their graveyard while also eating some of our smaller creatures that have died to get large. Hexdrinker level up is sorcery speed only. I don't think Crypt is good enough. Crypt is really mediocre at keeping them off of delve threats. But like, just cast a Thought Scour, have enough fetch lands and stuff. It's like, okay, it's stopping Snapcaster Mage. Before anybody asks why there's a snow-covered forest in here, I want you to look at all 3 of the lands that I'm playing and then think really hard about why there's probably a basic forest in here. Or why there's a snow-covered forest in here. Think about it. Think about it. So, there are Death Shadow decks. They want their life to be low to a degree, but our hand's set up that we can go wide around a Death Shadow pretty okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and jam here. Hey, Stabby, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. No, we died. They had double removal. We have Rancor next turn with Vines Protection. Rancor gives the creature that we equip it to +2 attack and trample. Vines gives a creature hexproof and +4/+4. Avatar the Resolute's not a terrible draw. Stubborn Denial. Sure. This puts them to 6. I bet they have a Gurmag Angler. They're playing this out to fill their graveyard up. All right. So they need double interaction here. Because this evolves this to a 3. So that means even with a block, they're dead. And I have Vines to protect from their first piece of removal. So they need removal, or removal plus counter. And their both removals have to be Fatal Push. They need like Fatal Push plus Stub or Fatal Push, Fatal Push. Pass priority because they're taking lethal. So they have the stub. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I clicked through it. I could have regenerated that. It had 2 counters on it. And then it would have gotten pumped back up from the Strangleroot Geist too. Yikes. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. That's potentially the difference between having 2 and or having 3 and having 4 lethal attackers this next turn. So if I had regenerated there appropriately, my opponent would be at 1 right now. And I'd have a 2/2 and a 3/1 in play. So they'd be under the gun to draw something again here. And we're dead. What does that question even mean, Winmegas? How harshly do you judge the play mistakes on the stream? Like what kind of metric are we using here? I don't have any comeback mechanic from here. This kills this, and then I have to chump block every turn on here. You really don't gain anything by like I don't like kick myself in the face or punch myself in the face or like slam my hand in the door frame when I make a mistake like that harshly. Oh, it kills the shadow too. I'm dumb. I mean, if that's their play there, they must have had another removal spell, right? Yeah, that second game was a little bit sloppy, but we're probably still dead. And that's the thing with decks like this. Decks like this are low power level, so you can't make any mistakes. And even when you don't make mistakes, you're still going to lose a good amount because their power level is just pretty low. Snapbolt Snap, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. It's going all right, Dannon. We played the new Bridgevine deck to start the day off, and that was really sweet. The deck's a lot of fun. It has a lot of neat things going on. We're gonna play more modern decks like that one and less modern decks like this one moving forward. I loosened my submission requirements up a little bit around the new set. That was probably a mistake. Definitely felt a little bit saltier playing Modern. Playing some bad decks recently than I felt in a long while. Anybody who thinks Bridgevine is too good has Stockholm Syndrome. Decks like Bridgevine have been great in Modern for a long time, and you just think Bridgevine's too good because it's new and shiny. The basic lands are definitely the best thing about this deck. They're truly a gift. Sure, a broken clock's right twice a day, Dannon. Magic's a game with an incredible amount of variance. As someone who spent time traveling around the country playing shitty Kiki core decks at Modern Opens and like top 8ing a good percentage of them, like doesn't mean the deck was good. There's always those people who are like, but Jeff, this brew's doing well. All right, go top 8 a tournament with it. Go put up a bunch of results with it. Go play enough that you can work through the fact that it's likely a lot of variance allowing it to win. Maybe I'm supposed to dismember this. If they don't combo kill us next turn, we're actually in a pretty good spot to kill them, right? If they don't kill us on 4, we should kill them on 4. All right, we hit the second bridge, so that's lethal. That combo mills us. Once they have 2 bridges in the bin, Hagak and Altar, they're going to flip their whole deck over, then they're going to flip your whole deck over. All right, these cards are slow and fair. These cards are graveyard hate. Yanni, thank you for the 2-month resub. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for re-upping your prime this way this month. Hey, CS Squared, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Olamos, thanks for the 5. Sorry about that. We were mid-sideboarding. Welcome back. I'd like them to start at Shadows over Innistrad. Our deck's too slow and fair. I'm going to mulligan to a hand with the sideboard card. And by that I mean we're going to mulligan to 4 and die. Hey, just lucky. Thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. No, I'd only unban cards that enable slow combos in Modern, like Birthing Pod and Splinter Twin. Things that can win on turn 2 and turn 3. Don't really have a desire to see more of in the format. We have enough of that. Yep. Take your mill 6. Oh, good. Oh, good. Just 2 Vengevines. That's all? That's all you got? Just 2? If, I have a Hexdrinker. How's my Hexdrinker make you feel? Are you intimidated? Are you scared? You should be scared. Only I have 4 power on turn 2. Oh, you have 10 power on turn 2? All right, fine. You got it. GG's. All right, let's get beat up one more time, and then we'll be done with this one. Maybe we'll sneak in a 3rd Modern deck again, or maybe we'll just jump to Standard, and I'll end early. Yeah, maybe we'll just jump to Standard. Maybe I'll sneak in an extra Standard deck because I'm planning to do 3 Modern decks tomorrow. Yeah, let's do that. We'll just jump to Standard. Tomorrow there's not going to be any Standard because I'm going to be ending about 1 o'clock, I believe, so. Maybe we'll do 5 Standard decks today instead of 4. So here's the thing. One of the things I think of that people do too much is that when I talk about the ban list having too many cards on it, a lot of people jump to make this really bad faith slippery slope argument of jumping to the extreme of, well, let's just play no ban list Modern and unban everything. There is so much room between what's on the ban list now and let's play with Skull Clamp and Glimpse of Nature and Hypergenesis, right? There's miles and miles and miles in between those 2 points. Ooh, humans. All right, we're gonna get a fair shake this game, chat. We're gonna play our creatures, and we're gonna see how they line up against our opponent's creatures. Whose creatures do you think will be better served, chat? Skull Clamp unfair. Skull Clamp is fun fair. Again, I just wouldn't unban cards that only go into decks that are degenerate linear decks. Yeah, we need to hit running lands here to have a chance for sure. Without running lands, we're probably DOA. All right. Step the first. The good news is this Aspect of the Hydra kills this Champion of the Parish. Because this is a Phantasmal Image, so I got that going for us. Got a Doomblade here in my hand. Go into those degenerate linear Batterskull decks. Yeah, exactly. All those degenerate linear Batterskull decks. So you understand, you get it. You've played Modern before. Time out for 6 months. TZTFG, thank you for the half a year. I appreciate it. Welcome back. No fear, smash face. It's a race. Look at chat, we're winning. We're winning. We're at 17 and they're at 12. Our deck is so powerful. If we play the Strangleroot Geist next turn and like swing for the fences, this Aspect of the Hydra might be lethal if we draw a land. Get a little tricky. I'm not a big fan of cantrips in general, because cantrips make gameplay very samey, which I think is not, generally speaking, an enjoyable experience. One of the reasons I play a game like Magic as opposed to playing a game like chess is because I want variety in the gameplay that I'm experiencing. We're just dead, right? Like, I can't beat these Mantis Riders. Maybe they make bad blocks and die to this card here, because it's giving +7/+7. If they don't block with actual everything, I kill them. Maybe they only block 3 things and don't play around the +7/+7. Hey, Kuzalu, thanks for the support. I wish it was going better for you. Hey, you activated my trap card. Kill you. They never play around the one mana 7/7 chat. They never play around the 1 mana 7/7. Getcha. Hoo-hoo! Pull the sneaky on him. Get to sneak on over. Get him. We are very devoted, opponent. Very, very devoted. Turn 4 kill. That was a turn 4 kill, wasn't it? Alright. Pump spells is this limited. Yeah, but we're on the scoreboard. We've won a game. Woo, dog. We won a game earlier, didn't we? Nope. That was the first game win. Alright. How about a match win? What do we think? Can we go for the gold? Can we get a match win? Mathematic, I don't expect or want anything in Modern. The only thing I want out of Modern is to accept that it's a giant crap show that's never going to be full of decks that I enjoy playing, so I should play the linear decks that I like and not worry about the rest of it. Expecting Modern to fundamentally change in any sort of way is a recipe for disaster and frustration. What's that old proverb my mother would have on things? Accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. You can't change Modern. Modern is what it is. If you're not happy with it, go play a different format. Or change decks and try and find a deck that you are happy with. But like sitting there and being like, Modern's gonna be fair someday, and I'm gonna be so happy when Modern's fair is not gonna happen. Modern's never gonna be fair. But Jeff, you can play Blue-White Control. Blue-White Control is such a fair deck, Jeff. Yeah, you can play Blue-White Control. Sure, but you better like playing Blue-White Control against linear combo decks. That's most of what you're going to play against. Why? So, Electric Ketchup, your statement there about making a better ban list is implying that the current ban list they're not happy with. And in fact, if you read things that they've written, they are currently happy with the ban list. When they banned KCI, they said point blank they felt Modern was healthy outside of KCI. They like Modern being a linear obnoxious race. That is a feature. It is not a bug. Yeah, that's the one. The Serenity Prayer. There you go. My mother's very religious. Sure, and like, you can play a fair deck in Modern, but Modern's not a format that you can play. Like, you can choose to play fair decks in Modern and have an okay win percentage if you're playing good Magic, but it's pretending that the average game of Modern is going to be you playing your fair deck against another fair deck, that's just not based in reality. That's something made up from some kind of fantasy land that someone else came from. Yeah, and if you like playing your fair deck against the unfair decks in Modern, like I said, more power to you. This Magic in general is all about having a deck that you really enjoy playing. Evolve triggers on toughness greater than 2, so I can play this and make this a 5/3. If I was in charge of the Modern ban list, Ancient Stirrings and Faithless Looting would not be legal. But I am not in charge of the Modern ban list, and I never will be. Written about that a number of times before. All right, I don't think we're gonna get to pull a sneaky on them 2 games in a row here. We got another snake here. Yeah, because I overlooked that really small percentage point Sabanite, and I elected not to take the time to get different cards before we started the league. You play Modern with a fair deck and normally get more wins than just makes well. I think the narrative that being familiar with your deck is better than playing the good deck, I think that's overstated a lot of the time. I think that's the justification a lot of people make, and I think that justification is going to become less prevalent when the London Mulligan goes into effect. Because the London Mulligan is going to take these decks that are low power level, and it's going to make them worse. Yay, we won a match because my opponent didn't get to play Magic. Speaking of London Mulligan, what the London Mulligan is going to do is it's going to increase the power disparity between decks that have always been bad and decks that are actually good, because the decks that are actually good are going to lose to themselves less often. So the London Mulligan just makes everything more consistent, so the decks that are good are going to stumble and die less often, which is how decks like this that are ultimately low power level kind of prop themselves up. Like, that last match is a perfect example, right? Like, the Humans deck is much more powerful and consistent than this, but we stole one game because they made a bad mistake, and then we won the third game because my opponent didn't get to play Magic. I think there's a lot of decks like this in the format that people play with regularity that are only propped up by the fact that Magic is just this incredibly high variance game. In fact, say what you will about, like, the invite list to, like, the Mythic Invitational and like the Mythic Championship. People have been complaining about that, but I think one of the things that, like, inviting these random challengers that don't have a ton of Magic experience to those things does is it really highlights just the incredible amount of variance Magic has, because these players who are far less experienced than these MPL players who are supposed to be, 30 of the best players in the world, their win rates aren't very high against players who have little experience, right? I think that does a really good job to kind of exemplify that and show that, like, there's a lot of variance in this game, and even when you're the best of the best, you can still lose to random other person with a lot less experience. So I've cast a 3/3 for 2 on 2. I've cast a 5/4 for 3 on 3. And my opponent's probably going to cast a Wormcoil next turn. I'm going to be dead. On a scale of Candyland to chess, where do I wish Magic lied? I actually think Magic's in a fine spot. I think a big part of why Magic has had so much success over the years is because of the amount of variance that it has in it. Like, say what you will, listening to people about making jokes, even myself, about how this game's really high variance and stuff like that. Like, the fact that it's such a high variance game is one of the things that brings it replayability. It's one of the things that, like, brings people back again and again and again because they know they always have a shot because of how much variance the game has. Do you think there's an element of player personality meshing with certain types of play patterns? For example, I think I play much better when I use a control deck versus a mid-range deck, but I can't tell if it's more experienced. I think, in general, Magic's something that you should be doing for fun, right? So I think players who are playing decks that they really enjoy the play patterns of are going to win more often on average than players who don't. Oh, they're playing Eldrazi Tron. Dismember? If we had a Dismember there, we might have been okay, but I'm just like, not beating this Endbringer. There's a reason why, like, you know, the tournaments this weekend, for example, like, I'm playing in 2 standard tournaments that have pretty reasonable prizes. Like, there's $5,000 in cash to the top, whatever, at both of them. One of them has an MCQ invite, one of them has an invite to Nerd Rage's End of the Year tournament, but, like, I'm playing Naya Feather at those tournaments. I'm not playing Mono Red. And the reason why I'm playing the Naya Feather deck is because it's the deck I just enjoy playing more. It will have a better time if I enjoy the play patterns of what I'm playing. New 6-mana Chandra seems awesome. Super excited to cast that card in Standard. Well, I mean, we're not ending after this. We're just going on to playing video games. 3-mana Chandra seems sweet. Yeah, I think I agree with that. 3-mana Chandra seems like she'll slot into the Aristocrats well. It'll be tough though, because like the 3-drop and the 3-drop slot in that deck is already kind of clumped up. She probably has to replace Tibalt. Tibalt probably gets like relegated to the sideboard. Creature. Deal. This thing tramples too, right? Yep. Natural Tron. Always Natural Tron. Never not Natural Tron. All is dust. Yep. Alright, so I'm 1-3 in this league, but I'm actually going to play the last match just in case we get incredibly lucky, because I get $5 with these new. So, like, if I concede the league now, I lose $10. If we win the last match, I only lose $5. So, in an attempt to lose slightly less on this slot machine, I'm going to play one more match. You ever accidentally conceded when you tried to attack with all? I have not. There's another prompt, I believe, after you click the concede button. Yeah, like, and one more match of Modern is probably only going to take, like, 10 minutes. So, like, $5 for 10 minutes. I'll do it. Hey, LP fan. Thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. You can technically play matches of Magic Online without spending money, but if you're playing them against random people online, in my experience, the rate that people leave when they get behind or playing decks that are very budgeted or bad is very high. Alting Coffin Modern after 2 turns. That's adorable. My 3-mana card that doesn't impact the board combined with my 4-mana card that doesn't impact the board. Ultimate's 2 turns later, and that ultimate wins me the game 6 turns later. Yes, Dude Light. Speaking of playing MTGO, yeah, I actually have an article for Ubuntu, I think. Is this it? There's MTGO Wine. One of the two. There we go. Yep. Hey, look. Both the commands work. Smart. Hey, Williox. Thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, this is one of those decks where, like, we'd played it a bunch in the past, and, like, once upon a time in a slower, more graceful Modern, it was fine. You could, like, keep up and generate some interesting games as a budget deck, but we should probably have moved past it at this point. Like I said, I lowered my submission standards a ton surrounding the new set so we could have an excuse to play with some of these cards, but I was just, like, very quickly reminded over the last week why I had greatly increased my submission standards. It's like, sitting here getting dumpstered is just like, yep. Yeah, I think this card's probably too slow and fair for Modern. Maybe this is okay in something like, say, maybe this is okay in something along the lines of Green-Black Rock, but in just, like, these, like, cute aggro decks with no disruption, they're just not competitive in this format. Yeah, the Shadowborn Apostle deck is probably one of those, this depends on how much money you plan to send with it. That one. That deck's at least, like, doing something novel, which is nice. Thanks, Wellex. Well, I appreciate you helping me stick around and make more of it. I get to pump this up here, and then next turn I get to pump this into a 4/4 and then kick Vines of Vastwood. So if their hand's mediocre here, and we could maybe push lethal next turn. I have a Dryad Militant to throw under the Kiln Fiend-shaped bust this turn. Commute through 100-degree weather. Yikes. I want to use Vines to counter TBR. Oh, that's true. I could have left that up, huh? They're also stumbling on land drops, though, so, like, TBR without another land isn't that scary, right? I guess they could have, like, Simian Spirit Guide. Alright, if we don't die here, and they don't play a blocker, we can kill them on the backswing. I think we're actually pretty far ahead here. They're likely dead next turn. Not really, Zelda. It's been pretty slow on average. My opponent's deck's been kind of just like fumbling and bumbling around. Alright, so you're dead on the backswing. I have 7 power. Alright, alright. We did it. So they're kind of a burn deck, right? Do I board in Life Goes On to gain 8? I kind of think this might be a Life Goes On matchup. Yeah, the Canopy should be a Peat land. It's fine. This is the last match. And I did, for the YouTube video, I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, so I'm sure people will still comment before they actually watch 30 seconds into the video, because that's how YouTube works, but it is what it is. No threats here. Pretty easy mulligan. Sweet. This hand wants a third land, but like, this lets me go turn 1 1 drop, turn 2 2 drop, and then hopefully turn 3 3 drop. Gut Shot. Rude. Gut Shot is exiled by Dryad Militant's ability, because remember, damage doesn't kill creatures, state-based actions kill creatures. So, like, scale of 1 to dead, where am I at? If they have another Gut Shot and a Teamer Battle Rage, we die. Would love to draw a land here so I can play Tusker plus hold Vines up. Which I think is the correct line in case they have another removal spell. Sacred Foundry A. We haven't seen any white spells out of them, right? Did we see any white spells in the first game? They had a basic Plains. I don't think I recall seeing them cast any white spells. They cast Swift Spear, they cast Titan Strength, they cast Lightning Bolt. I wonder if they're running Feather. Maybe. I have a sweet DX Racer. It's right here. This is Declan's chair. It's right there. It's a nice chair. It's just not quite as nice as my $600 office chair. Weird how things that cost twice as much money. Racer's a great chair for the price point. Why did we Searing Blood my creature? Oh, because it just deals 3 damage. Sure, I guess. It is not a Herman Miller. The tallback Herman Millers cost like close to $1,000, and I really wanted a tallback chair. Some are even more. Yeah, like they start at $1,000 for the high back Herman Miller chairs. Which, like I said, like when people are like pointing out that like I'm not using the Racer, like it's a nice chair. Like they start, I think they're like $200 to $300. Like, that's a good price point for a reasonable chair. I don't remember subbing, but I'm glad I did it somehow. Hope you're having a Chipotle or pot pie tier day. Thanks, Zeke. I think it's going to be a pot pie afternoon. If you are someone who spends a lot of time using their computer, I would heavily encourage you to buy a very good chair. Spend your money where you spend your time is the best piece of advice I was ever given, and is very, very solid advice. Bridgevine's awesome. That deck's a hoot. Look at that, chat. We're going to finish the 2-3 and get $5 back. Yeah, they microwave really fast, too, which is great. The fact that they microwave in 2 minutes is awesome. The pot pies are not a sponsored product, but feel free to tweet at them and tell them that you bought them because of me, and maybe we could get them to become a sponsored product. Hashtag always shilling. Decontest, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Nah, I don't think Bridgevine's any more obnoxious than anything else that's going on in Modern. I think I'm going to add this to the list of decks that I'm, like, not really willing to play again. We won a game that last match against someone else who was playing, like, a low power level Modern deck, and we beat humans because they didn't play a game 3 and they made a bad blocking game 1. As Modern gets bigger and more... As Modern gets bigger and bigger and more cards get added, decks that are linear and efficient get better and better, and decks like these that have existed around the fringes for a while, they just stay at the same power level, which ultimately means they're getting edged out of the format as the overall format modern level goes up. Well, I mean, like, there are some efficient threats that are okay. Like, Grixis Death Shadow is a good example of efficient threats. It's just like the bar for efficient threat in Modern isn't a 2-1 for 1. It isn't a 5-4 for 3, right? Like, the bar for a 5 power creature in Modern is a 1 mana card. I don't think you're a professional millennial influencer because your office has chairs and not because you have office chairs and not beanbag chairs. It's like puberty. Everybody else got attractive and I'm still a potato.